All righty. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone. We want to start right on time here because we want every single second of our presenters' time here. I'm excited to introduce you all to Lisa Williams. She has 25 years as a veteran recruiter and wealth educator. And her and I were talking, we met on Clubhouse actually. And I'm like, you've got to come and talk to my amazing You Got This clubbers that have qualified here. And so just to kind of preface it for you, a lot of us we're employees, or maybe some of us own our own business, but most of us are employees. So there's a certain employee mindset. And when you get into network marketing, what you don't realize is that there's an entrepreneur mindset. And it's very, very different. So when Lisa and I was talking, I'm like, oh my goodness, I'd love for you to share the different mindset, because we do have to change that mindset from being an employee to being an entrepreneur in this business. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Lisa, to share your wisdom and knowledge with the group. And if we have any questions in between or anything pops up, we'll either put it in the chat or we'll unmute. But I want to turn it to you to talk to our beautiful group here. I think we've got all ladies on tonight. Yeah, we're not
fun.
Women anyway. So the women are here and ready to rock and roll with you.
Well, let's face it, we do rule the world, don't we, ladies? And I'm going to apologize in advance because my sweet husband is in the kitchen and he's a very loud talker. So we're gonna do our best. But thank you all so much. Boy, by the way, I just want to start by saying thank you to Maria for giving me the opportunity to speak. You ladies are so blessed. I've only met her once, but I found an immediate kindred spirit. A woman of faith and integrity, and someone that's done it. You know, she's exited corporate successfully. So those are the people that we want to emulate and learn from. So, you know, I'll start by sharing with you, I am a recovering corporate executive myself. I'm actually very new to this world of entrepreneurship. Only about a year, but as Maria did share with you, I was blessed with an abundant corporate career in recruiting for many years. And who knew that apparently network marketing, there's a recruiting thing that is a part of that business that I just happen to be really good at. So I found a niche that didn't realize others struggled with, and have been blessed to create a business around it. But, you know, really what I want to start with is I want to describe a situation, because I think we've all been in these kinds of situations, and this was mine. It was about 2 years ago, and I was asked to come into a very stuffy, closed conference room with no windows. I was asked to be meeting with my 19th boss in 23 years. I was at my last firm for 23 years, and he asked to speak with me. And he proceeded to tell me that he was going to be giving one of my largest accounts that I'd worked with for 20 years to a much younger woman. They were probably going to pay her a lot less, right? And just like that, my income was cut by a third, right? I was a highly paid executive, very blessed, what I call a Henry, a high earner, not yet rich. That's something I just learned a couple months ago. Write that down. That's a good one. But you know, I was part of the system, right? I was expecting to. I knew something was going to happen in that moment. I didn't know what was going to be that drastic. But you know, isn't timing everything in life? Because in that time, I also was helping my sweet mother battle cancer. Okay. And literally 2 days later, I was on a plane to go take care of my mom in Alaska. And I remember I was sitting in the airport and in Seattle on a layover. And I called my husband and I said, babe, I'm not going back. I'm done. You know, this is it. This is that camel, or that straw that broke the camel's back. And I didn't. I ended up taking a leave of absence for a period of time. And I got to, you know, pray my mom into heaven. I was just such a gift that I was given. Sorry, I get a little emotional. It's only been 2 years. And And I never went back. And I really, at that point, what I did is I hired myself. And that is the mission that I am on with our firm. We are on a mission to empower, equip, and inspire 1 million people to hire themselves. We're on a mission to be 7-figure givers, whether it be just with these 2 hands or the hands of many, which is what I prefer. And what I realized very quickly is that I actually had some gifts that God had blessed me with that others didn't. You know, I want to start by just thinking, having you ladies really think about the PhD that you have in your own life. Only you have lived that life. Only you have been blessed with the gifts that God gave you. And it's really, the question is, are you using those gifts to your fullest advantage? For you mothers out there, are you giving your kiddos the example of that lifelong learner that I think we're all meant to be on this world? You know, I will tell you the hardest thing that I've had to overcome is this mind of mine, this employee mindset. We have been, we've been trained in our school systems to follow the system, to fit in this little Zoom box that we're all in right now, right? We spit out our kids into corporate America. They're trained to be really worker bees, regardless of what level that you rise to in corporate America, right? We really are trained to move into a system. Well, guess what, ladies? The brilliant part about that is once you break the barriers, the chains that I call it, around our employee mindset and really embrace the mindset of an entrepreneur, the mindset of a recruiter, the mindset of a business builder, then you will be free and your business will explode. You're going to find people that are locking arms with you, that are marching forward with you. And what I love about this group is you're already leaders, because that you had to qualify to get to this class. So I'm gonna share my screen with you, and I'm gonna share some things that have helped me personally. Probably a lot of things that you already know yourself, and maybe sometimes, I bet you've heard it from Maria too, sometimes you get parent deaf in this business, right? You've probably heard it from Carrie. You know, you have fabulous leaders you're blessed with. So I'm gonna, Maria, I forgot to ask you if I have hosting privileges. If not, can you help me?
You should.
Let's see. Okay, perfect. I do. Okay. So I'm gonna ask you if you can see my screen, okay? Just a thumbs up if you see it, okay? Okay, super. So we're gonna have some fun and we're gonna help you break the chains of your employee mindset. So I guess just raise of hands, first of all, is there anyone that struggles with this besides me? You know, still to this day, right? So jazz hands if there's a little bit of this in each of us, right? So let's just start by talking about what we have before us in this business. Most of you, I'm sure if you've been in network marketing for long enough, one of the reasons you said yes was you wanted to help yourself move around the cash flow quadrant. For those of you that haven't read the book, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Sharon Lechter, the co-author of that book, is one of my mentors. I've been blessed to share the stage with her on our Assets Are Sexy platform, but she teaches about moving around the cash flow quadrant. So, you know, the first thing, why do I bring this up? First of all, because have you really embraced the power of the business system that you're part of? You know, LifeVantage actually is a new company to me. I hadn't been familiar with that firm. Very excited to learn more about it, Maria, by the way. You know, this is the thing that I had when I came in, which really benefited me. I didn't realize it, but I had no preconceived notions of network marketing. I really hadn't ever, you know, thought about it. Maria and I talked about this. You know, we didn't really know what the business in a box was that was available. And so, you know, for those of you that maybe have some outdated beliefs about network marketing, you know, that's certainly something you need to work on for yourself. But when you think about the true concept of this business, how brilliant is it, right? You are working with the hands of many to produce lifetime dream income for the hands of many, not just you, right? Let's talk, just think about that, moving from that employee to that self-employed quadrant, to the business owner quadrant, to the investor. Most people, I find, I haven't been, doing this very long, but I've made a very successful leap. And when I evaluate why I have, it's because I didn't get stuck in the self-employed category. Too many people, they find their passion, whatever their business is going to be, whether it's network marketing or a bricks and mortar firm or affiliate marketing or direct selling. There's so many wonderful ways to make a living these days in home-based businesses. But so many times they get stuck in that self-employed quadrant and they don't continue moving around the quadrant. So, our tribe really is a group of out-of-the-box thinkers where we are consciously moving our way around that quadrant to where you really embrace, not only do you know what your system is, but you use it every day. You enroll new partners every day and customers, and eventually you work your system with consistency and persistency, and your business will run it for you. You'll have that mailbox money, that Maria and Carrie, and I'm sure a lot of you already have, but in a much more abundant way, where you really then can move into the investor category. This is where I come in. I'm a wealth educator. I'm a debt eliminator. I help people put their money to good use. So many of us have lazy assets that we need to get working for us, but we need to first generate to be generous, right? So let's just talk about, first of all, again, really embracing what you have and whether you've actually thought about it lately, what you have. Because what you've done with saying yes to your business is you've moved from the 99% category to the 1% category, at least on your way to being that 1%. Let's just remind ourselves what that 99% is, which is most Americans, right? It's our system that we've been trained to be part of. Most Americans have a single source of income. They pay to get good credit. They finance or lease their new cars. They focus on saving money. They rely on retirement accounts. They generally don't know, understand, or realize the concept of using other people's money. I also like to say other people's time, other people's energy, right? Other people's ideas. They pay 4 types of taxes. They die without life insurance. They liquidate their assets to pay for long-term care coverage, for example, and they often die without estate or tax planning. Now, what do the 1% do? This is the few. And this is what I know Maria and Carrie are on a mission to help you all become, that 1%, right? They own a business. They have the tax benefits of owning a business. They get paid to build their credit. They buy used cars while they're building their wealth. They focus on tax-free investing. They create multiple streams of income. They use other people's time, money, and energy in all forms of investing. They reduce and avoid taxes. They have permanent life insurance. They protect their assets with long-term care coverage, and they have estate and tax planning. Okay, so let's just start by thinking. Oh, do you need me to
go back 1 second? I want to get the picture.
Oh, absolutely, yes, for sure. I know that's a good slide.
That is an awesome slide. I should ask you to send me the slides if you don't mind, because I know people are going to be like, oh my God, that's so good to show people.
No problem. And you said that you're right, because, I can't recall if I mentioned this when I first started, but one of the reason I think I've been as successful as I have so quickly is because, don't get me wrong. I think the products that all of our companies offer are fabulous. But I find that oftentimes that's what people lead with instead of the business, which I believe is what is the most powerful tool in any, network marketing firm that has good products, right? But oftentimes, the enrolling conversation is around the products, what it can do for you versus what the business can do for your life. So that's where I think this slide is a great one to help people get in that mindset. But let's talk about your mindset. When you're really looking to break the chains of that employee mindset, the first thing we have to do is become our own CEO. I ask new agents that I work with, they maybe have been in the business for a couple of months and it's just not, moving at the pace that they would want. And the first thing I ask is always, would I want to follow me right now? Would you want to follow you right now? If people do what I do, would they be in a position of winning at the highest levels? And it's a tough question. I've said it in my own career on a number of occasions. No, I'm not the leader that people would want to follow right now. But the great thing in life is we have a lot of do-overs, right? Every day is a do-over. So asking yourself that question, I would start with that is what is your CEO mindset, and what does a CEO mindset, really employ? And I have about, I think it's like 12 points that I'm going to share with you that I believe a CEO mindset has. And, the first thing I'll start with is, imagine if you went out and you bought a $250,000 franchise, okay? And you said yes, you made this large investment, right? Imagine you bought it from Maria. And then imagine that Maria told you, okay, now here's the deal. People ask me all the time, how often are people really successful in this business? And Maria says to them, well, guess what? The great news is 100% of the people that follow the system. And so then what if Maria told you, what would you want to know about that business? You just spent $250,000. You would want to know what's next, right? You would be all in. You might have taken from your retirement account to buy this franchise, right? You'd be all in. And then what if Maria said to you, you know what? I'm going to be busy the next 3 days. Let's chat later next week. Would this sit well with you? Right? So, think about when you said yes to your business, when you're enrolling others to say yes to the business, have that same mindset. This is a $250,000 franchise you just bought, or at least it can be if you treat it that way. Right? So when Maria, when your leaders, when you as leaders, enroll new partners, do you have your mindset on straight, and are you expecting the same from others? Are you setting those expectations for success? Because, most of our businesses are very simple, right? But they're not easy. Now, the first thing that I always say is if I have an agent that's struggling, I ask them, what are you doing to manage your own business? Are you engaged in the calls that are available to you? Are you on time to meetings? Do you have your top 25 always rotating? Is it defined? Is it ever changing? Are you always adding people to it, right? Are you meeting somebody new every day? Do you have a business plan? Are you reading it? I don't know if you guys use this method, Maria, in your group, but we believe in the principles of Think and Grow Rich. For those of you that haven't read that book, I would put it on your list. It is considered the first book that was ever written about self-development and entrepreneurship. It was written way back in the 30s by Napoleon Hill. And there's actually a movie that was written about it. One of the CEOs that I work with is the executive producer of the movie. And they have a principle when you write your business plan, that once you write it, you read it out loud every single day. And it's not a business plan that you take to a bank for funding. It's a business plan for your mind, really is what it is, right? So are you reading your business plan? Do you have one? And when you are, be excited about it. Be excited about the opportunity that you have. I say to people, really, in my opinion, the skills that you need to master to be successful at the highest levels in network marketing is to be an enthusiastic inviter, to be excited about what you offer the consumer, and don't be afraid to share it. But then remember to tell your face that. Like it's not good if you're feeling it inside, but your face is not telling others about it, and also by making sure you're leading by example. Are you recruiting every week? Are you enrolling every week? in my business, we call it a 117. You know, we identify a business partner, we help them become a client and secure their savings plan, and we help them do it. We help them get another partner, you know, in a 7-day cycle. And think about just one. All you got to do is one. What's less than one? It's 0. You know, so really all you're doing is next to nothing, right? And imagine if you do that every week, but you also teach others to do that every week. Imagine how much your team will expand. And, you know, did you get into business to work by yourself? You know, if you did, you might as well stay in corporate, in my opinion, right? You might as well stay in that hamster wheel. Don't trade one hamster wheel for another, right? And continue to move yourself around that cash flow quadrant. So the number 2 is really, what is your vision? And more importantly, does your team know what your vision is? Are they enrolled in your vision? You know, along with vision comes goals. What level will you be at? Do you even know what it takes to get your first promotion, for example? And is it spelled out? Is it defined? Is it on your, you know, your mirror in the morning? Is it ever present in your mind? And if you know what that is, then do you know the steps to get there? And again, more importantly, do you know how to teach others? Because if you don't know where your goal is, it's going to be very difficult to teach others how to get there. I feel like, you know, what network marketing, you know, the world of this space has given me is that ability to be a better version of them. That's one of my favorite things that I love about this space. You know, I wonder when people lost the belief that they were meant to do something more. My oldest is a junior in college, and he's just like on the precipice. You know, he's got another year of school. He's wondering, you know, he's asking all those questions that all of us did. And, you know, imagine by you stepping into your leadership in a more powerful way. If you are parents, if you do have young people in your life, imagine the example that you're giving them of lifelong learners and being that better version of you. Because, you know, the great thing is there are tools that you can retrain your brain to grow again. If you are stuck, if you're finding yourself in a place of non-activity, or, you know, maybe you just barely got into this group by the skin of your teeth, you know, by enrolling your father or something, right? Because I know we all do it. I've done it before too. You know, the great thing is you can retrain your brain. You know, we would never think about telling our kids, for example, to stop trying. So why do we not let ourselves? You know, why should we ever let ourselves? And by the way, hope is not a good strategy. You know, figuring out what you want and then taking action to actually get there is the best strategy of all. Character, you know, character seems like seems a little cliche, but, you know, I feel it's really important to you know, step into your character. In terms of really defining what is your brand, what is your personal brand. Sorry, ladies, I'm going to close my blinds here really quick. The sunshine's coming in. But when I talk about your character, I'm going to keep talking, but I'm going to move over here and close my blind. You know, when you are leading by example, you know, or when you say you're going to recruit someone that month, have you done it? You know, when your leader is asking for commitments for, you know, the month, is it something that is ever present in your mind, and you're going to do it until you get there? And the one thing with being a leader is, are you able to do this even at your lowest moments? You know, some of the lowest moments in my life, when I really look back, have brought me the greatest blessings. And it's amazing what just being able to persevere through difficult times can bring you. Too many people in our world, you know, they want things to be easy. And, you know, our kids definitely want it to be easy. I struggle with that constantly, with helping my kids learn to work harder, you know, but also work smarter. Instead of trying to make things easier, what if we really embrace the pain as something that would make our world better, right? Make our dreams go even faster. You know, number 4 is, are you dependable? Are you accountable? You know, there's a lot of verbiage around team over me. You know, are you showing up to all your appointments? If, for example, Maria and Carrie are not around, are you stepping up as leaders? Are you able to run the show? You know, that's a really big sign of a leader is, am I a flag carrier for my leader? Am I going to do everything I can to help my leaders get their next promotion? Because guess what? When you step into your own leadership and help achieve that, that's what your team's going to do for you. It's just a natural, repetitive, beautiful process about human nature and team building. And, you know, are you capable of delivering what you promised? You know, are you saying yes too often? And is that impacting your business? This is a big one. You know, I find that a lot, I've done it myself. When I first started down this path, I thought I needed all these things. You know, I said yes to all these coaching programs, for example, and they weren't necessarily in the right sequence that I needed them. And oftentimes they would be some, you know, a actually time filler for, you know, the high income producing activity versus the high impact producing activity. Now, don't get me wrong. I love education. I love courses. I have courses myself that I offer, but there's that fine line between being a professional meeting attender and then being a professional business builder, right? Because it's very easy to get into that meeting attender category, right? And not have your pocketbook affected because of that. But when you are given a task, you know, will you get it done without being reminded as well? You know, step up, help your leaders, you know, accomplish things together. Because when you lock arms together, there's, you know, my mom would always say, whenever you're embarking on something, at least go 2 by 2. 4 by 4 is even better. But, you know, have someone that you're locking arms with that can help you lead your team, because what you do for your leaders, your future teammates will do for you. I talked briefly about the Henry, but, you know, thinking about who you want to attract. For me, I gave you that acronym, the high earner that's not yet rich. You know, I was very comfortable in my corporate job until I wasn't. You know, I was blessed financially, and until that income got cut by a third, right? And I got sick of being sick and tired. You probably know this, but the number one reason that people will say yes to a new opportunity, by the way, and this is, remember, I'm a 25-year recruiter, so I speak from authority on this, is because they're dissatisfied. And did you know that 70% of people at any given time are looking for new opportunities? They're open. I bet it might be 100% right now in this crazy COVID time. So the question is, are you developing a professional image that is going to attract those people? This can be kind of a delicate situation, by the way. You know, I'm not talking about, are you pretty? Are you skinny? Are you, you know, are your teeth straight? You know, do you bathe? I'm not, well, you should bathe. Everyone should bathe, but although in the land of the Zoom, that's not even probably necessary these days. But my point is, are you creating an image that you want to attract? You know, don't get me wrong, I have yoga pants on the bottom, but am I professional on top, right? That's the great part about Zoom. You know, are you going to be ready for those Henrys that are entering the space of network marketing and really seriously considering it as a viable business option, right? You know, it says shave, shower, brushing your teeth. That seems kind of silly. I actually did this for a mostly male group the last time, so that's why it says shave. But I guess shave your legs, right, for us ladies. But you know, it says here, stop putting holes in yourself. You know, let's face it, our world is tough enough to to be successful as a female entrepreneur. But put your armor of God on, you know, don't allow those holes to be shot through. Make sure that you're doing everything you can so that when those people come looking for you, you're ready. And especially your mindset, you know, your image, presentable image that can, you can put a Band-Aid on that kind of stuff, but your mindset is the most important thing. Let's talk about your language that you're using. I love the story of Chris Gardner from The Pursuit of Happiness. That movie, probably a lot of you have seen it. Chris had this was a true story. I love this. I'm in financial services, so it really, this story I hear a lot about because of that's my world. And, he had a lot of barriers of entry, right? He wasn't very educated. He didn't have a lot of money. He didn't look the same as the white guys on Wall Street, right? But what he did is he changed his language. He demanded respect from people, whatever your business is. Are you an authority on LifeVantage products? Do you speak from a position of authority? Now, once you speak from that position of authority, can you put it into layman's terms? I'm a wealth educator. I'm a debt eliminator, but I've trained myself to meet people where they're at, which typically the consumer, in that space, it's very rudimentary knowledge that people have, right? Think about, I noticed on your website, I love the term biohacking. Like that is a lean in moment. Are you using it, right, to your advantage that you could be? Maria shared with me about her health journey that she went on, and are you creating the language around your own story, and are you sharing it enough? That's a really important thing, because again, two keys to success. I shared the first one, which is becoming a professional inviter. But the second key to success is storytelling in network marketing, in any business, in my opinion, really. Because storytelling, facts tell, but stories truly do sell, right? Be professional, but speak in layman's terms. Get to the level of whoever your consumer is that you're engaging with. I personally, and this is a no swear zone in my world. I don't tolerate it. I know that there's a lot of, people that actually kind of like the shock factor. I personally, I don't go for that. But whatever you decide that your truth is, make a stand and be firm about it. That's the people you're going to attract. But also, you have to be flexible and adaptable, because we do ultimately, the product that we're dealing with most, friends, is people, right? And you have to be flexible with people. Obviously, attitude, this kind of goes without saying, but again, I remind people, tell your face that you're happy, remind it, smile. And by the way, I have met so many people. I'll tell you a story. I was probably in my corporate job. It was about 6 months into this job that I had for 23 years, by the way. And there was a woman there that had been there for 12 years. She was kind of cranky. She wasn't a very welcoming presence, let's put it that way, right? And I remember walking in one day, and I would always greet everyone with a smile and ask them how they were. And she asked me, she's like, one morning, she just shouted across the room, Lisa Fleming, because at the time I was Lisa Fleming. Lisa Fleming, why do you always have a big smile on your face when you walk in? And I, without even thinking, I just said, I love the Lord, Kelly. And I have to, he's shining from within me. I didn't even know I was thinking that, but that's the first thing that came to mind. But guess what? I've met people that don't know how to smile, that train their faces to smile, right? Be positive, be approachable, be willing to lose and give. If you give, I promise, givers gain. You will receive ultimately. And if you aren't good at these things, then train yourself. Start being around people that are. There are so many ways to improve your attitude out there that are free. My mentor is a gentleman named Ed Mylett. He's got, he's considered the #1 peak performance coach in the world. I listen and talk with Ed every single day. John Maxwell is somebody I listen to. There's a gentleman named Greg Kapp. So many people. I have a podcast. Come listen to my Dream Big Nation podcast. Maria's going to be a guest on it too as well. It's going to be fun. My point is, you know, don't make having a bad attitude an excuse for not growing your business, right? Because remember, what you put out there, you're going to attract back to you, right? Personality, obviously, it goes without saying, don't be abrasive, always be giving, be unselfish, team over me, be approachable. And really, in a lot of ways, this is one of the hardest parts about our mindset break, is because corporate America is really not that way in a lot of ways. You know, Maria was in HR. She always was having to crunch the numbers, make the books look good, you know, let people go, talk about a lack mentality. When you really think about corporate America, unfortunately, I wish it wasn't the case, but it is. And 9 times out of 10, if you are working for a company, by the way, that is not that way, bless you. And, you know, you should be grateful for that. But my experience is most of the time, you know, especially if you are, I personally think, I don't know what it is with women in corporate, we could learn something from men, in my opinion. You know, men are really good about building each other up in corporate a lot. Women are kind of suck at it, to be honest. It's one thing that attracted me to this network marketing space, because women are great at lifting each other up here. And, you know, be willing to lose and give to make yourself move forward in your life, because I promise it will happen. You know, your reputation in your business is really, really important. When you are building your team, when you're building your business, you know, are you the person that's respected by others? Are you confident? You know, make lots of money, but also save lots of money. Do you have money rules, by the way? It's one thing, you know, this is one thing that I do struggle with sometimes, is there are some, you know, organizations that there's kind of a fake it before you make it mentality. You know, my business is debt elimination and wealth building. You know, I teach families to take money from their front pocket and put it in their back pocket. It's one thing that the wealthy are really, really good about doing, is they always pay themselves first by saving, you know. So be sure that you have defined in your world, what are my money rules, you know, and making sure that you pay yourself first. It's a cycle that I find a lot of solopreneurs get in, is they're not paying themselves first by saving for the long term. Because, you know, your reputation, it really is a blank sheet of paper when you start your business, but it's written, you know, in stone as you build. This is the time to, you know, practice what you preach. And, you know, it's all about attracting the people that you want to work with, right? Money is, you know, sometimes a tricky topic with people, but I really think it's important to have these conversations with your team. You know, whether you're talking to people that they want to make a car payment, or do they need to make a mortgage payment, or do they need to help their kids get through college? Have those clear goals with your teams, and you know, help them remember to have a generous heart. There is money everywhere to be made, especially if you really understand your money rules. And, you know, do you have limiting beliefs around money that are holding you back from attracting it? You know, there's a class I do, it's called the Sacred Money Archetypes. That's so fascinating. Did you know that we all are, you know, born really and grown with sort of, you know, really true beliefs around money and what our originating archetype is? So the minute that you understand that, you can change it if you have, you know, bad money rules in your life. Definitely never argue about money, you know, and if in doubt, just pay it. And also with money, what is your financial freedom number? Do you actually know what it takes to be financially free? Imagine if you were on a road trip and you had no idea where you were going and you didn't have a GPS, right? Think about, you're starting a business. Shouldn't you know where your financial independence number is, what that freedom number looks like? You're going to be able to get there so much easier. You're going to be able to reverse engineer it with your business. That's a beautiful part about systems, businesses that have a system. You simply have to reverse engineer it. Integrity, we already talked about a little bit when it comes to your reputation, but in my opinion, this is the most important thing next to your reputation. We talk about leading from the front. That's part of integrity, right? Don't ever expect your team to do something that you're not first doing and that you're leading by example. But, confidence is directly connected to your integrity. There's a personal coach that I do business with. You might know his name's Chris Powell. He's from Biggest Loser Weight Loss Edition. And he has this concept called the integrity promise. And he tells this story about one of his, I think it was his first ever client that lost significant weight. I think he lost like 200 pounds or something like that. And they ended up becoming very, very good friends and, lived together on occasion through the years. And, slowly, gradually over time, he ended up putting back all the weight on that he had lost. And, they didn't speak for a period of time. And then at some point they came back together and they were able to have a heart to heart. And Chris asked him, he said, what was it? What was it that put you over the edge, that made you start to slip, right? And he said, you know what? It was just this one time. I stopped at a gas station. I was going to go get my big gulp that I get it used to be like the largest big gulp you could get of Coke. That's how he would start his day. And one small shift he made is he did diet instead. That's how he lost some of his weight. And it was just one time he said, you know what? Just this one time, I'm going to have a Coke instead. That's what happened. It's these tiny, small promises we make to ourselves. Think about the days that you wake up and you say, you know what? I'm going to eat that frog. That's a great book, by the way. If you haven't read that, Eat the Frog. I'm going to eat that frog first thing. I'm going to make my prospecting calls or text or whatever you do to message to your community right away. I'm going to get it out of get it off my plate. And how many times do you not do it? And it doesn't have to be 20 or 30. How about just 2? What if you start every single day by starting your day with 2 outreaches, just 2 every single day? Imagine the volume you're going to have, a month from now, 2 months from now, right? So it's those tiny promises that we make to ourselves that are most important. And that confidence, you make those tiny promises and you build on those, that confidence is going to increase. It's directly connected, right? Because I'll tell you, the softest pillow in the world is a clear conscience. When you make those promises to yourself and you keep them, you keep building those muscles, your confidence is going to grow, right? And then, a last thing I'm going to end with you tonight is, this is a very cliche, topic, of course, but do you really know your why? Do you remember it every day? Do you have it, a visual of it? My why is my mother and my best friend. My mother was the most amazing woman of faith and integrity and lifelong learning. She gave me such great examples of the woman that I'm becoming, right? That I'm stepping into every day. She lost her cancer battle. It was 2 years ago last week. And she left to me a legacy. It's an important legacy to continue serving others in the way that she served. She was a nurse for 50 years. She was the most amazing servant heart. And shame on me if I don't continue her legacy, right? My other why is my best friend. She passed away a year ago. She was 46. She had four children under 16. And she is not going to get to continue her legacy in the way that she could have. I will never know why until I get to heaven and I'm sitting there having a glass of champagne with both of them, why their time here was cut short. But guess what? Boy, did it wake me up to how life can go like that, right? It's, you know, we're not promised an easy life, but we're definitely promised a good life, right? And I just hope that some of this has been helpful to you. I have a big heart for serving. I hope you do too. I hope that's one of the reasons you said yes to the beautiful business that you're part of. We have a great tribe at Lisa Williams Co. If you'd like to learn more about what we do, how I serve my community, I let Maria know. I offer a complimentary, what I call my journey to financial wellness, process. If any of you don't know what your financial freedom number is and you want to know what that is, be sure that I put my calendar link in the chat, and Maria can send it to you as well. We also have complimentary classes we teach every week. If you are a business owner, which we all are, I want to give you 3 things to think about. I want you to think big. I want you to act big. And guess what? You're going to become big as a result of that. That was actually borrowed from one of my mentors in life, Mr. Alex Stern, who was the inventor of Constant Contact, by the way, a multi-billionaire. So he's got a couple of things he could teach us all, right? So bless you all in this amazing life journey. I've really enjoyed getting to spend some time with you.
Thank you, Lisa. I mean, I've got a page of notes here. I'm so glad you reminded us of that cash flow quadrant, because we've got to play in that, and you've got to learn how to move around in there. One of the things I love you said was working with the hands of many. I've never heard network marketing thought of that way, but that's a great way to put it, is that we are working with the hands of many. We can only do so much with our own hands, but if we connect like all these beautiful women that are here, I mean, together we can do so much together. And I just love this tribe. I love this business because of this tribe right here. Like these amazing women that are on this journey with me. It just fills my heart. And thank you so much for sharing with us. If anyone has a specific question you want to unmute, you can unmute and ask a question or put it in the chat. But I love the 12 steps because those are the things that we have to look at. And I do suggest that if you haven't met with someone financially, you should, because if you're going to think big, you got to know, what are you going to do in the future, right? Where are you going to invest that money in? I know there's a couple of people on here that I have a financial planner that we use that I had go to my financial planner, right? Just to start thinking, bigger, right? Like, and the things that are out there that you can do that you don't even know you can do, right? But if you plant that seed, like, hey, yes, I would like to do that someday. I'd like to be able to invest in that, or the different investment options. I think it just opens up that mindset. Like, wow, there's all these things out there that we don't know of because we're not, that 1%er, but that's what we're all aiming for, right? Is to be the 1%. So thank you so much.
I'll tell you, Maria, I'm glad you brought that up because, I'm not an advisor, by the way. I'm a wealth educator. And what I really do is empower women around money. Let's face it, it shouldn't be more important to anyone but us, right? And the reality is, I actually had 2 advisors, by the way, prior to becoming a wealth educator. And they were both very nice. Don't get me wrong. They're both men, but they tended to tell me what to do versus teach me. So I became an educator, and that's what my mission is at our firm. And, if you are planning to make it big in your business, understand how money works, right? And understand the variety of ways that you can put your money to work for you. There's so many amazing ways that unfortunately corporate America didn't teach us, right? So yeah, happy to schedule time with any of you if that would be beneficial. Okay. Yes. So wonderful. So nice to see you, Maria.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, ladies.
On here. Thank you for blessing us, Lisa. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Absolutely. Okay. Bye, ladies.